it's Daniel. This will be a 75-minute yin yoga class. Some props that would help if you have them are 2 blocks, a bolster, and a blanket. So if you have any of those, please grab them. We'll start with seated meditation. I'm going to choose to sit on a block. The important thing is that you're seated comfortably with your spine relatively upright so that you can easily pay attention to your experience. Once you arrive in your seat, check in with your body, see if there's any ways that you can relax a little more. You might close your eyes or soften your gaze. And then just start to pay attention to the experience that you're having. There's not a right or wrong experience to be having. Just gently, non-judgmentally noticing your experience. So you may notice physical sensation, like the air moving across your skin, or maybe an itch. Maybe you notice sensation associated with your breathing. Maybe it's thoughts or emotions that come up. You might notice sounds, smells or sights. And whatever's there, just receiving it, non-judgmentally, noticing what it's like. So you notice, for example, when a sensation arises, while it's there, you notice what it's like. So we're noticing this process of moment-to-moment change. When a sensation is present, you may notice fluctuations in intensity or the way it is experienced. You might also notice your reactions to anything that comes up. So noticing the psychological self, if something is perceived as pleasant or unpleasant or neither. And just allowing that to be how it is for now. Non-judgmentally noticing. Noticing when something arises in awareness. Noticing what it's like as it changes moment to moment. And noticing what it's like when it's no longer there. And you might notice the temporariness of whatever that you are observing. Noticing how anything that comes up is subject to change. Noticing how different parts of your experience are interconnected. So you might notice a relationship between thoughts and emotions, for example. Or sensations and thoughts. Whatever's present in your experience, you're just noticing the process of moment-to-moment change. Just allowing it to unfold however it does for this practice. And you shift your attention from the content of your meditation to the context of awareness. So you can notice that whatever you're experiencing arises in awareness. That there is awareness when it's present, and then after it fades away. So whatever experience that you're having, you're getting to know that experience, not pushing it away, not judging for now. And noticing the context of awareness, noticing that the experience is arising in awareness. As we move through the poses, just keep the practice going. You want to pay some amount of attention to your body, enough to keep yourself safe. So it's okay in these poses to feel slightly uncomfortable. Just a little outside of your comfort zone is okay, but we're not going for anything very intense or painful to avoid injury. So keep some amount of attention on your body. You've always got permission to come out of a pose early if you need to, or to take a different pose or rest. But aside from that, just allow your experience to be how it is. Getting to know it, not pushing it away. And also noticing the context of awareness. It's like, to use a common analogy, shifting your attention from the furniture in a room to the space in the room. Okay, for our first pose, we'll take saddle pose. So this one might take a little bit to set up. You can sit on top of a block for this. And if one block is not comfortable for you, you might try 2 blocks stacked. But you might start with a block, and you come into a kneeling position. So bend both of your feet back. Now, you don't want to feel any pain in your knees. We are targeting the quads here. You might feel a little bit in your calves as well. But you should not feel any knee pain. So if you do, try 2 blocks. You can also, it's completely okay to do this without a block, either seated between your heels or on your feet with your heels spread apart. Just make sure that doesn't cause any knee pain for you. Once you're comfortable in the kneeling position, then you lean back onto your hands, and it's a slight back bend here, just leaning back onto your hands at first, seeing what you're feeling. If you're up on 2 blocks, you might have a bolster or some kind of support for your hands. And then stop here at this first edge. And notice what you're feeling here. Again, slightly outside of your comfort zone is fine. We're not going for anything very intense. So targeting the thighs, shoulders, maybe the back, keeping those areas relaxed. Noticing subtle changing sensation. Now, if you want, if it's comfortable for you, and you might set a block for your head. You can lower down into your forearms. This is just another option. Noticing what this experience is like for you if you're taking this option. Another option is to lower down completely onto the floor and extend your arms overhead. Find one that works for your body. And then the same as we were, noticing your experience and noticing awareness. Allowing the pleasant and unpleasant aspects as long as your body is safe. And you can notice that awareness itself is already receiving this moment how it is. Even when there might be a little bit of mental resistance at the level of the personal self. Now you just come out the same way you came in, but in reverse. Lifting your chest, drawing your elbows back as you start to press up, coming onto your hands, if you were on your elbows. And then returning to sit in a hero's pose, as long as that's comfortable for you. If you need a break from this kneeling position, feel free to sit in another position. And we'll spend a few minutes here in the resting pose, so treat this as meditation too. It is normal to feel slightly sore after coming out of a yin pose, especially one that tends to be more intense like saddle pose. So you can notice as that sensation slowly fades over time. It should fade within a minute or two. If it doesn't, that's good feedback to do less next time. For the next posture, we'll take deer pose as a twist. So if you're coming into it from hero's position, you might lean over to one side so that you can release one leg and then the other. Bring in your soles of your feet to the mat with your knees bent up. All right. Then from there, you can slide your hips over slightly to the left and lean your knees over to the right to bring your legs into a pinwheel shape. This is the deer position leg shake. You can choose how wide you want to open your legs here. Pick an option that's comfortable. If it's not comfortable for you to take this on the ground, you might sit up on top of a bolster or block. Then we twist. So keeping relaxed, you turn to the right to come into a twist. So you can stop at this first edge where you feel something. Notice what the experience that you're having is like for you. You can choose to remain on your hands. Another option is to lower down onto your forearms. Noticing the effect of the alignment that you've chosen if you've tried it a couple of times. Settling in with one. Observing your experience without judging. Then you can come up onto your hands if you were on your forearms. When you're ready, turn around to the front. And we'll do the same thing. We'll rest a few minutes between sides. I'm going to keep in this same position and rest my hands on the block. So you might notice here the karmic results of the posture work that we just did. If there's some sensation from the pose, noticing what it's like as it starts to fade. And this practice is filled with all sorts of ordinary moments. You might notice things like itches, or digestive sensations or sounds, random thoughts. Whatever you're experiencing. Let it be okay. So we'll switch sides now. You can bring your knees up, slide your hips over to the right just a little, and lean your knees over to the left to bring yourself into that deer leg shape. You can select the distance between your legs, making sure you're relaxed. Start to twist to the left. Stop at the first edge. Decide if you want to keep the alignment that you're in or take a different one. So you do have the option to take this on your forearms if you want. And you can notice that that process is unfolding within awareness. Allowing all parts of your experience. Noticing that awareness is already receiving it. If you're on your forearms like me, you can come up to your hands slowly. Always come out of the yin pose slowly. Then turning towards the front. Again, I'm going to sit with my legs in the same shape and rest my hands on the block, but you can choose how you'd like to rest. Staying present here in the resting pose. from there, take your block, and you might need two for this, and come to a seat on top of it with your knees bent up. You might need two. I'm on one. And we're going to come into a squatting position, so we're targeting the legs here broadly. And really, you don't even need very much for this. Some people might feel this just simply leaning forward and resting your arms on your knees like so. That's one option. Another is to lean your hands forward onto the mat or a block in front of you. If you need a little bit more to feel something, you can come forward so that your heels lift up, making sure that you stay relaxed. And you can even lower down to your forearms. I'm going to take this option. And getting to know the experience that you're having without judging. All right, and then just backing your way out of it, coming back to sit on your block if you came off of it. And you feel free to do this next one without a block if you prefer. I'm going to stay on my block. And you can take either square pose or shoelace. For square pose, you can cross your right ankle in front of your left. We're targeting the hips for these. Make sure you don't have any knee pain, or you might need to be up on a little bit more height. Then you fold forward to bring sensation into your hips. So that's the idea of the pose. Square pose being the gentler option. The other option is shoelace pose, where you bring your left ankle to the right a little so that you can stack your knees. They don't have to be exactly stacked, but that's the idea. You don't want any knee pain. We are targeting the hips here. So see what you're feeling. Pick an appropriate pose. Square pose, which is cross-legged. We're doing right in front of left, this side, or shoelace. Then fold forward. And you might find if you're somebody that has a hard time doing shoelace pose normally, that sitting on top of the block makes it more accessible. Or you might not. Square pose is a perfectly good option too. Whichever pose that you're in, observing your experience without judgment and noticing that it's unfolding within awareness. Okay, we'll switch sides. You can slowly come up. If you're on your arms like me, it might feel good to stretch first. Then switch your legs up. And we'll take the second side, shoelace or square. Once your legs are in position, you just fold forward, targeting the hips. Now you can slowly come back up to the seat. You can lean back on your hands and uncross your legs. Maybe it feels good to roll your heels from side to side a few times. And then come onto your belly. And next we'll take Sphinx pose. So for that, you can come up onto your forearms like a Sphinx, targeting the lower back. Notice what you're feeling here. If you'd like to add a little more sensation, you can lift your feet. And you can notice here, bring your attention to your belly, maybe your hips, where you're contacting the mat. And maybe for a moment it seems like that sensation is solid or unchanging. But then not doing anything, but just noticing that the next time that you breathe, noticing how that seemingly solid sensation experience changes. And can you find anything in your experience that is solid? So you can notice in all experience that there's this process of moment-to-moment change, inclusive of even the personal self. And you can notice that the context for that is awareness, noticing that all experiences unfolding within awareness. And you can notice, and this is a good practice to do, that we suffer when we resist experience. Noticing that awareness itself is already receiving this moment how it is. Alright, so just as some counter movement, you can sway your feet from side to side, massaging the lower back. Lower your chest and your feet, and then press back into child's pose, lifting your hips up and back. You can sit your hips back on your heels, or if you need, you can place a bolster between your heels and your hips, resting your head on the block or the mat. What is this experience like right now? Not needing to come up with a judgment about it, just noticing what it's like as a moment-to-moment process. Okay, crawl back, lift your chest, and for the next, I'm going to sit up on top of a folded blanket, so I'll grab that. Swing your legs around, and we'll take caterpillar pose. So the folded blanket just helps your hips to tilt forward a little bit more readily. Now extend your legs forward. We're targeting the back body here, especially the backs of the legs, but the entire back body really. And so you can just lean forward, keeping your legs relaxed to bring some weight onto your legs. You can either keep your spine long or you can round the spine and let the head hang here. And then again, noticing, bring your attention to what you're feeling in the back of the legs. It's not solid, is it? So you can notice how it changes moment to moment. The only constant is awareness itself. So in observing our experience neutrally and noticing that it is arising within awareness, we find the freedom not to have to repeat patterns. We can more easily choose skillful actions or non-actions. And we can find freedom from suffering. Noticing that that is a inherent quality of awareness to receive this moment exactly as it is. can slowly walk yourself back up to a seat. You can lean back on your hands, stepping your feet in. Slide your blanket out from underneath if you roll one like me, and then lower down into your back to rest. Staying attentive here in the resting pose too, treating it as a part of the practice. From here, we'll come into a reclining twist. Keep your left leg straight, but step your right foot in. Now set a block to your left side. Take your knee into your hand and roll to the left to come onto your side, bringing your knee onto your block, or the ground if that's comfortable for you. Bring your hand under your chest somewhere and start to roll your shoulder open. You can keep your left hand on your thigh or knee. You might extend your right arm if that's a comfortable version of this pose. coming back onto your side first. Check in with your back, make sure you've relaxed, and then come onto your back to rest with your knees bent up. It's time for the other side. Take your block over to the other side. Straighten out your left leg, your right leg, and take your left knee into your hand, and then roll to your right to bring your knee onto the block. From there, you can keep your right hand on your knee or thigh, left hand comes to your chest, and you can roll your shoulder open for the twist. Feel free to extend your arm if you like that option. onto your side first. Make sure you're relaxed, and then come onto your back. I'm going to rest with my knees bent up and together. Now we'll come into supine frog, so you can bring your knees into your hands. Opening your knees up a little bit as your hips come slightly up. And now we'll rest. So you might grab a blanket here if you have one. Your body does tend to get a little colder when you're practicing yoga. Settling into your resting pose, but remaining present. can start to wiggle your toes some or roll your ankles along the mat. If you have your hands on your chest like me, it might feel good to rub your shirt gently. Getting yourself ready to come up to a seat in your own time. Take your time. Thanks for practicing with me.